Good morning, and thank you all very much for attending. I am Frida Foster, and I am serving as the chairperson for this Friday, September 16th, 2022, meeting of the Harlem CDC. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Consistent with the policy of our parent corporation, Empire State Development, we welcome public comment on the items on the agenda. After each item is presented and any comments are received from the directors, we will allow members of the public to provide comments. All comments should be limited to 2 minutes and should only address the item that is under consideration. Please note that the public was given the opportunity to comment on today's agenda items by submitting their written comments by 10:30 a.m. this morning to hcdcboard@esd.ny.gov. And I'd like to state that for the record that no comments were received from the public. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, since we are all here in this room together in person after a very long time, I would like to take the opportunity to go around the room. Please state your name, and if you are representing anyone other than yourself, please let us know that as well. And I will start with Mr. Director.
Thank you. Curtis Archer, Harlem Community Development Corporation.
Ernestine Bell Temple, representing Assemblyman Alfred Taylor.
Good morning, Shauna Marks, representing Congressman Adriano Espaillat.
Good morning, Margot Cruz, representing Assemblymember Danny O'Donnell.
Hi, everyone. Councilwoman, the actual Councilwoman Kristen Richardson Jordan.
Lamont Mays, representing New York State Assemblymember Inez Dickens.
Elsie Encarnacion, representing Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Terrell Brock, and I'm representing State Senator Jose Serrano.
Assemblyman Eddie Gibbs, representing Jason Cruz.
Good morning, Julissa Quigley, representing Councilmember Sean Freya.
William Allen, the designee for New York State Senator Cordell Clear.
Manuel Belial, representing President Mark Levine.
Deneen Brown, representing New York State Homes and Community Renewal, Ruth Van Lee.
Destiny Burns, Empire State Development, HCDC.
Rose Jeffrey, Harlem CDC Corporate Secretary.
Ina Oria, Project Manager for Harlem CDC.
Thanks.
Thank you all very much. And welcome. Oh, and on the phone. Do we have any members on the phone, please?
Members on the phone. Did we mute?
Hello.
There you go. Okay, go ahead.
Holly Jerry from I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And welcome once again. Directors, if you have any potential conflict of interest with respect to the items on today's agenda, please make the appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. And we will then be sure that you recuse yourselves from any discussion or vote with regard to such items. Are there any recusals? Wonderful. The foregoing has been noted for the record. Now, our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the directors meeting from March 18th, 2022. I will entertain a motion for approval. I'm assuming that you all have had a chance to read through those minutes. And I will take a motion to adopt them for the record. Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
Awesome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I will now ask Ms. Carleen Turner Beverly to present the request for authorization for disposal of the property pursuant to Article 6 of the New York State Urban Development Act. Carleen?
Thank you, Destiny. Greetings, HCDC board members, staff, and others assembled. My sincere regrets that I could not be with you in person today. Unfortunately, conflicts prevented it, but let's hopefully attending the next board meeting in person. My name is Carlene Turner Beverly, and I am appearing in my capacity as in-house legal counsel for the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as ESD. In the context of its status as a subsidiary of ESD, I am also proud to serve as legal counsel for HCDC. The item that I'm presenting relates to the proposed disposal of a property located at 1963-1969 Madison Avenue, in which an HCDC subsidiary has an ownership interest. We are seeking the board's approval to move forward with disposing of the property and the improvements thereon to the current operator of the premises, namely ABSW Sini Joe Williams Jr. Housing Development Fund Company Incorporated. We're petitioning the board to approve that disposal for a sum less than fair market value. The proposed developer and operator is a New York not-for-profit corporation and is an affiliate of the Association of Black Social Workers. The subject premises is located within the special 125th Street district with frontage on Madison Avenue and along East 126th Street. The premises is improved with 4 walk-up brownstone multifamily buildings, each comprised of 4 stories plus basement and cellar, which were constructed between 1909 and 1920. The site has 20 units, including 1 basement level community facility unit and 19 residential apartment units. With respect to the residential apartment units, 18 are affordable housing, 2-bedroom/1 bathroom apartments, subject to a regulatory agreement administered by the New York City Department of Housing, Preservation and Development, HPD. And there is also 1 2-bedroom/1 bathroom superintendent's unit. The ownership history and status of this premises is rather intricate and complex, as I'm sure you've gleaned from the materials submitted in support of this item. So I do want to spend some time addressing this issue. The relevant history of this project site dates back to the late 1980s, when one of NYC's first implementations of a federal low-income housing tax credit project, known as a LIHTC project, was sponsored by HCDC's predecessor organization, the Harlem Urban Development Corporation, of course known by the HUDC. So in a nutshell, LIHTC projects are authorized under the U.S. Tax Reform Act of 1986, and they involve a dollar-for-dollar tax credit for affordable housing investments. Accordingly, they incentivize the utilization of private equity in the development of affordable housing. The tax credit may be considered more attractive than tax deductions because they provide that dollar-for-dollar reduction in the taxpayer's federal income tax, whereas tax deductions only provide a reduction in the taxable income base. The affordability restrictions associated with LIHTC projects typically expire 15 to 30 years after a project commences. The 1963 to 1969 Madison Avenue site was one of 5 sites in Harlem to be selected for renovation via HUDC's LIHTC project. I'll pause to note that the other 4 sites that are part of this LIHTC project, which are mentioned incidentally in the materials, are not at issue today. However, just as a matter of forecasting, I do note that we anticipate submitting future items for the board's consideration in the coming months that will pertain to those other sites. Shifting the focus back to the 1963 to 1969 Madison Avenue site, in particular, the property was previously owned by the City of New York. In or about 1989, HPD transferred fee title to the land and buildings on the site to HUDC pursuant to the terms of a land disposition agreement. Under the LDA, HPD provided construction loan financing for the renovation of the building, and HUDC agreed to renovate the project site and utilize it for low-income housing. An affiliate entity of HUDC, and all of the acronyms, but that affiliate entity was named HUDC TC Incorporated. That was formed for purposes of financing, conveying, leasing, operating, and managing the project. And a general project plan was adopted by the HUDC directors, dated November 14th, 1989. It should be noted that the GPP did not directly contemplate the instance of this type of proposed sale to the current operators of the project site. However, the memorandum of understanding between HUDC and HPD, which was incorporated by reference into the general project plan, explicitly considered that the buildings would be conveyed to, and I quote, a nonprofit housing development corporation for $1, end quote, at the expiration of the tax credit period. So in terms of ownership structure, HUDC, HCTC's predecessor organization, is the fee owner of record for the premises. HUDC's wholly owned subsidiary, HUDC TC Incorporated, entered into a limited partnership to undertake the development of the property. This limited partnership was known as the HUDC TC Limited Partnership. The limited partners in that partnership are American Express, Metropolitan Life, and JP Morgan, as well as, of course, HUDC TC. A ground lease was conveyed to the 1963-1969 Madison Avenue Associates Limited Partnership, which is comprised of the Black Social Workers Services Corporation as the general partner, the HUDC TC Limited Partnership as a limited partner, and HUDC TC Inc. as a special limited partner. The general partner operating the project site is ABSW Sini Joe Williams Jr. Housing Development Fund Company, Inc., which again is an affiliate of the Association Black Social Workers. It should be noted that in terms of the HUDC TC Limited Partnership, all of the institutional investors have indicated that they want to their participation in this project. American Express, Metropolitan Life, JP Morgan no longer wish to continue their involvement. In terms of the ground lease, at the end of the ground lease for this site, which I believe termination date is 2035, ownership of the buildings are set to automatically revert back to HCDC. However, the nonprofit affiliate, the Association of Black Social Workers, has expressed a desire to take over full operation of the project beyond the current terms of the ground lease. The nonprofit ABSW affiliate has asked that HCDC consider a disposal of the project site for less than fair market value, in line with what was originally contemplated in the Memorandum of Understanding between HUDC and HPD, which again explicitly considered that the buildings would be conveyed to a, quote, nonprofit housing development corporation for $1, quote, at the expiration of the tax period. Due to the expiration of certain federal and local tax credit benefits, the project site has experienced financial hardship. The financial adversities have required that the current operator explore alternative financing while maintaining its affordable housing objectives. Specifically, the Association of Black Social Workers has indicated that critical repair needs continue to accrue and accumulate at the site, but they have been forced to defer some maintenance based on cost prohibitive factors. Therefore, this site does warrant priority attention. Owing to the economic burdens that the operator now faces, they have asked that CDC contemplate disposal of the project site for less than fair market value. Conceptually, there are four main components of the proposed disposal. Number one, HCDC would terminate the current grant. Number two, HCDC would enter into a purchase and sale agreement with the proposed purchaser. That again is ABSW, Feeney Joe Williams Jr. Housing Development Fund Company, Inc. Number three, the proposed purchaser would enter into a regulatory agreement with HPD to ensure long-term affordability at the project site. And number four, the proposed purchaser would rehabilitate the site. We believe that the proposed project as contemplated would create jobs, would provide a community facility for cultural organizations, and would allow for the rehabilitation of the project site and preserve the inventory of affordable housing in Harlem. Please note that at this juncture, the proposed cost of disposal is not a settled matter. The cost would still need to be determined. We are seeking authorization from the board to commence negotiations around cost. Prior to finalizing any disposal transaction, board approval for associated costs would be sought. Just to flag some legal parameters of which you should be aware in reviewing this item, Section 6 sub 1 of the Urban Development Corporation Act in pertinent part authorizes HCDC to sell or lease all or any portion of the real or personal property constituting a land use improvement project whenever the corporation shall find that such sale or lease is in conformity with a plan or undertaken for the clearance, replanning, reconstruction, or rehabilitation of substandard and insanitary areas in the municipality in which the project is located. Under Section 6 sub 1 sub A of the Act, such sale or lease may be made to any housing company without public bidding, public sale, or public notice. It's also important to be mindful that under the public authority law, a public authority is generally required to sell or otherwise transfer a property for not less than fair market value. However, in the event of a proposed transfer for less than fair market value, the public authority is required to make certain disclosures to the authority board and to the public with respect to the transaction. Significantly, the public authority's law requires that prior to the disposal of any property for less than fair market value, the board of an authority is required to consider the information described and, quote, make a written determination that there is no reasonable alternative to the proposed below market transfer that would achieve the same purpose of such transfer, end quote. At this time, the directors are requested to, number one, find that the disposal of the project site to the proposed purchaser, a housing company as defined by the Urban Development Corporation Act, satisfies the findings required under the Act. Number two, authorize the sale of the project site to the proposed purchaser or an affiliate thereof in accordance with the Act. Number three, make a written determination that there is no reasonable alternative to the proposed below market transfer that would achieve the same purpose of such transfer in accordance with the public authorities law. And number four, authorize the taking of actions related to the foregoing. And that concludes my presentation of this item. If the board chair allows, I'm happy to entertain questions.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Beverly, are there any questions from the directors?
I actually do have a question.
Yes, and can you please
Yes.
announce your name for the recorder?
Sure.
Yes.
So this is Elsie representing Diana Ayala. I had a question about the third bullet where you spoke about the long-term affordability at the project site. I was just wondering, I don't even know where to look because I feel, I'm like, she's not there, but she's there. I know you mentioned 13 or 30-year affordability, so I was just seeing if there was any clarity on what that would be for the proposed project.
That would be, thank you for your question. That would be something that would need to be negotiated as part of the new regulatory agreement, you know, if the disposal is approved. So that would be an item for negotiation on a prospective basis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I had a question as well. I understand we may not have it this time, but perhaps for the future, or if you happen to know what is needed. It sounds like the upgrades are needed and that's going to be a cost. Do we have any sense of what the numbers are for that?
And that question is from Councilwoman Richardson.
Oh, Councilwoman Richardson Jordan. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. At this juncture, I think that is information that we are actively in the process of trying to cement and get additional intel on. I am highly confident that, you know, at a meeting in the very near future, we'll be able to provide an update regarding the financial state of affairs and, you know, any violations that are currently affecting the property. I think we'll be able to provide a very fleshed out description at a later time.
Thank you. Yes. State your name, please.
Great. Hi, my name is Marco. I'm here for Assemblymember Danny O'Donnell. I just had a question similar to Elsie's question about the 30% of units if it's one community board versus 40% if it's 3 community boards. Is that something that will also be, like, when does that get determined, or also in the later negotiation?
Thank you for that question. I think that would also be part of the later negotiation. So we would certainly be looking to update the board in terms of that substance at a future date in the near future.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions from the directors on this item? No. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Seeing that that discussion has ended, I will entertain a motion for approval. And we are approving the disposal of this site, correct? To the social workers organization, ABSW. And all of the details will be forthcoming afterwards. May I have a motion?
To make a motion.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Can you say that a little louder for the?
Yes, I'm sorry. I make a motion to support.
Thank you, Ms. Deneen Brown Blackman,
Yes.
representing what the HCDCR. Yes. Yes. May I have a second?
Second. William Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I think I might abstain because I don't know.
Me too. I gotta know more, so I'm saying.
I felt that. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That, for the record, has passed. Next, Ms. Destiny Burns will now present the request for authorization to amend the contract for construction administration services in connection with the Victoria Theater redevelopment project. Ms. Burns.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is a request to authorize ATDC to amend its contract for construction administration services with Costo Greenwood Architects, or KGA, in connection with the Victoria Theater project. KGA has been involved with the project since the very beginning, initially serving as Apollo's construction management consultant during the design and planning phase. Their involvement was instrumental in ensuring the quality of the design elements and the acoustics and the performance spaces of the cultural unit. KGA services continue to be needed to oversee on HCDC's behalf the progress of the project's construction, including the build out and integration of the cultural unit after the construction is complete. HCDC's initial engagement with KGA was for a discretionary purchase from an MWVE of $200,000. The contract was amended 3 times, and the current contract has a maximum value of $569,000 and an expiration date that has passed. It's proposed that the contract be amended to extend the expiration date to July 31st, 2023, and increase the overall maximum contract value by $180,000 to $769,000. The contract provides that the work will be performed on an hourly charge basis at the amounts not to exceed the agreed upon rates. I now request that the directors authorize HCDC to amend the agreement with KGA to extend the contract term and increase the contract value as described, and take any related actions.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. Is there any discussion like this? All right, I'm not seeing any movement, so I will take that as we can entertain a motion to approve. Anyone?
So move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Brown Blackman, once again. May I have a second? Have a second. Anyone?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? All those in favor, please. Thank you. Any opposed? Abstention. That passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any additional business? I don't think so. There being no further business, I will entertain another motion to adjourn. Anyway. We're gonna keep the theme going.
Okay. I would like for us to close out, please.
Can we debate? Can we debate that?
You will? Thank you, Ms. Brown Blackman. Is there a second? Thank you so much. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Awesome. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for coming in.
Chocolate.
Now that I'm here,
But thank you. I know you.
Gotcha.